2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Gamers Lounge podcast. My name is John Meadows. With me as always, Eric and Nathaniel. Robert is away at his GameStop conference, so he's getting to play all the cool new games and see the stuff before it comes out and all that good things.
He's going to get some cool swag.
I'm sure.
Stuff. Yeah, he'll come back with loads of things.
They usually did. When the manager went to conference, he always came back with a box full of stuff. And
nice.
Yeah, so it was always a good time. I think now they do a lot of codes. They don't do a lot of physical games. Back in the day, they did a lot of physical games. But
did they not? They don't do codes anymore because they're worried people are like, oh, I'm
no. I mean, they do codes. I think that's all they do now.
Oh, they do. Okay, got it. Because they don't want people to like.
I think it's easier than it is to give somebody an actual physical disc. It's cheaper.
Yeah.
Plus, they can just email it.
It's like the last time we got something physical for review that wasn't hardware or accessory. It's probably been like a couple years.
Yeah, it was Disney Infinity stuff.
Because everybody's like, here's a code. I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. I don't really care.
I don't care. I mean, I'll take codes. That's fine. They spin just as well as physical discs.
There we go.
Code than to try and mail somebody something.
Yeah, I mean shipping and and all that. It's just like a hassle. So I understand the whole physical codes thing. I mean, because I remember back in the day when they would send them all in a box. So there would just be a huge box come to the store with the manager's name on it, and it was just full of games and T-shirts and all kinds of stuff. Cool. Yeah. Consoles. They used to get consoles all the time. So, but
lucky.
Yeah, there are perks to working for GameStop. So. But we're not here to talk about GameStop. I don't think there was any.
We're here to
talk
about the competition.
There may have been. I don't know. Game Crazy? Really? Is that still around?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't think so.
I think the domain is still up.
Stop and turn it into one.
Probably. I don't know. But well, anyway, we'll talk about what we've been playing, what we've been doing. Golly, Eric's list is humongous. I'm just now looking on it at the notes.
I've been playing a lot of stuff.
I reckon. Good grief.
And it's weird because normally I don't play that much stuff because I work 10-hour days and hour and a half commute, so I'm usually really busy. But I've been playing a lot of stuff recently. I don't know, I've been finding myself a lot of time. You want me to talk about some of it?
Go ahead.
All right, so let's start with the obvious.
Some of it I can input on, some of it Nathaniel can input on because he's played some of them and I've played some of yours, so
I played a little bit of it. Let's start with the stuff that nobody's played with. I randomly played Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, The Nightmare in North Point for a couple hours, maybe about a week ago. Random, just want to make sure it worked. I fired it up. I was like, I never played the DLC.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, it's pretty much like ghosts take over a part of the map in Sleeping Dogs as DLC, and it's fun, but it's sort of the same combat. So it got old quick, but I just wanted to see what it was about because I never actually tried it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Played a little more GTA 5 Online. I've been playing some Diablo 3 Definitive Edition. Usually every Thursday night, a few of us kind of game. Some of my friends from Seattle, and only two of us, me and another guy, could make it this last week. He's like, you got Diablo 3. He's like, I got a low level character. Let's fire it up. He's like, it's really, really easy. I know you didn't ever play it on the console. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll fire it up. He is very right. It is very console friendly.
Oh yeah, it is.
Tearing through stuff. It's like the combat and the buttons. I'm like, it's so much easier.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not getting carpal tunnel. So yeah, it's fun. I think I'm on like the third act. I'm just destroying it. I almost bought the Necromancer DLC. I was like, ooh, that looks fun.
Yeah.
But I went with the Crusader. I'm doing really well.
I like Diablo on. I have it on PC, but I also played it a lot on PS4. I like it.
I recommend on whatever system you have it on. I was just really surprised it transferred this well to the console. I'm assuming the PlayStation 3 version is just as good or similar. Maybe a little bit lower graphics. Yeah, it's fun. It's a good couch co-op game too.
Yeah.
I thought about maybe trying to get my wife to play. And PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Nathaniel, have you played this?
I have not played PUBG, but I have watched videos, so I know kind of what
it is. Interesting. My brother got it for me for my birthday along with a headset, and I haven't had time to hook up the headset yet. And it is, it's from the guys that were once responsible for Operation Flashpoint.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever played that back in the day. And that, I can see like hints of the game in there. It's pretty good, even on like high graphics though. It's I understand it's still a work in progress, but it's fun, and I'm not very good.
Yeah.
I maybe played like
No chicken for you yet?
no, I made like 10 hours. I played like 10 hours, and I maybe had like 6 or 7 kills. I always end up being in the top 15, but I'm usually end up running around exploring stuff, things like that. But it's fun. It's very different. I like it a lot. I'm eager to see what they keep doing with it and keep developing. So
Cool. I hear a lot of good things about it. I know a lot of people play it. I've never really sat down and watched any of the live streams of it. But.
I recommend a keyboard mouse, but it is playable with a controller, and it is pretty good.
And that's on Xbox One too, right? It's like exclusive.
Yep, it's coming to Xbox One.
Yeah.
It's one of those games that'll generate stories that you're playing where just something crazy will happen. So it'll be like, hey, remember that?
Yeah, where like you saw, it's pretty much fun. See, been playing some Sonic Mania.
Yep. I've been playing it on the Switch. It's pretty good. I like it a lot.
Yeah, me too. I remember what levels like I got stuck in it as a kid, and I'm totally like having that all over again. I'm like, must use Knuckles.
Yeah, I see. I got to I can't remember if it was the 3rd level or the 4th level. It's not the casino level, but it's the boss where it's the jet or the helicopter. I can't remember which. It has the rockets on it.
That's like the casino level.
There is so much stuff going on.
Yeah,
that it's hard to see what you're doing, and you're hitting, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane, but it's still fun. I mean, I blew like 5 or 6 lives on that.
I was hoping for a true casino level, and that level's kind of close to it, but I was really thinking hopefully there'll be a casino level later or something. I got stuck on Chemical Plant, and I was having the same problems I had as a kid, and I was like, ugh, I gotta figure it out with Knuckles. So gotta like that wall climb.
Cool. Yeah, I love that game. It's really good. It's really fun on the Switch. It's really fun on the Switch.
I also supposedly a secret you can play Knuckles and Knuckles. Am I remembering that right, or did I?
Yeah, there is. You can. I looked up a bunch of Easter eggs and stuff. There's definitely a way to play. I did pick up Hellblade. Actually traded my copy of my digital copy of Lawbreakers for it, but I haven't played it yet. So.
Oh, and by the way, I found out that. I saw you said you hadn't got your Wonder Boy Lawbreakers in the mail yet. They are not. They're not shipping until the end of the month because they're waiting on Lawbreakers where you bought it in the bundle.
Yeah, but guess what did show up today? It's in a big box and it's gonna go on my shelf. Night Trap. Collector's edition. It looks really, really nice and bulky. So nice. I did not buy anything last Friday. I was tempted, but nah.
I was interested to see how they did things, because they had the new order thing in place at Limited Run, and they had it they had it the way I said they should have had it from the beginning. Limited edition should have been limited edition and first come first serve, and they ought to have them open for 12 hours or 24 hours for the regular editions, and that's all they print is however many they sell, and they finally did it. So it's like, hey, look.
I wonder if they're only going to do that, though, with things they think are super popular.
That's what they said.
They're not going to do it with some of the games where they barely sell out of them.
No, they should. They should do it for all of them. But it's like, they finally come to this realization after all the really good games have already gone. It's Night Trap, Wonder Boy. It's like, why didn't they do this before? Why did they wait till now to do it? So... Yeah. Oh, well, whatever.
Yep, it's a learning experience. I've also been playing Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. I think I'm on chapter 5. Nathaniel, did you finish it?
I have finished it.
Cool. It's good. It's more of Uncharted 4, I guess. I'm really enjoying it, and I keep stopping to look at things and go, oh, man, it looks really good. I wonder if it would look even better on a PlayStation Pro. I don't know if it looks any better, but
I have it downloaded. I haven't played it, but I have it downloaded.
If you like Uncharted, you're going to like this game.
What did you think about it, Nathaniel? Did you like it real well?
I ended up really, really liking it a lot. Like the first part of it was fun, but then once the story started actually kicking into gear, about third of the way in, because it's like, hey, go and do this thing, and then you're in this kind of open area for a bit. And me being someone who likes to just poke around in it a lot, I kind of slowed the story down for myself a lot. I was like, oh, I want to go find this little thing over here and this little thing over here. Which is fun, but I don't know. And the game's just as gorgeous as 4. It's really looking, and the 2 characters that they picked are really fun together. So
they complement each other really well.
4 mechanically, but you're different characters, so it's a little bit
As a woman.
a little lock picking thingy in there, and
Yeah.
a little like map that you can look at. But
And you can take photos. You couldn't take photos in the last game, could you?
no, she has like her cell phone. She takes photos of like designated
Okay.
spots. You can just willy nilly take pictures wherever though.
Yeah.
Unless I just missed that. But yeah, I finished it. It took me a little over 8 hours, and that's because I was.
Yeah, that's what it's like clocking in at, right? About 7 to 8 hours.
If you spend a bunch of time looking for treasures, and I found maybe 2/3 of them before
Yeah.
That's
You
pretty
just
good.
get a trophy for getting all of them, right?
probably.
Do you try
Well,
the multiplayer at all or anything? It's probably more of the same. I think there's new maps and a new mode.
I was like, as far as I knew, it was just Uncharted 4's, mode again, just access to it on the disc. They might have added like a map or to it or something. Because when I put the disc in, because I got the disc version, it started downloading stuff for Uncharted 4 and for it too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wonder if they just maybe added like a map or something, but it's just wherever you access it, it'll be there. I'm guessing.
There was some multiplayer stuff because I had the gold edition or whatever for the download, and so it updated for me and downloaded it. And there was some kind of multiplayer map or weapons or something, some new stuff. I don't remember what it said now, but yeah.
So I don't know. Lost Legacy, if you love Uncharted, you should play it. It's a really good game. It's not doing anything that'll surprise you, just because they put it out so quickly. So it definitely plays a lot like what an old school expansion pack or something would be, like a really big DLC episode that's story based, because that's what it is. It's about 6 to 8 hours, depending on how quickly you go through some of the stuff that you can.
Yeah.
Or go off to the side, do some stuff, and it's not trying to do anything new or crazy different. It's got
Right.
some set pieces in it that a couple of them will remind you of stuff you've played before in Uncharted, but that's still fun. Those
Yeah.
games are great. So saying it's just more Uncharted seems kind of weird on the surface, but then you're like, wait, it's Uncharted. That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's more Uncharted is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And just playing it to get the interaction between Chloe and Nadine and all the story stuff, really good.
yeah, and I like I say, I was going to play it, but I haven't. I downloaded it, and then the Yakuza review code came in, and so I had to review that. So I was trying to play Horizon, started Horizon, and then that came in like 2 days after I started playing Horizon. I'm like, fine.
You're like, so many games. Dang
Yeah,
it.
really.
Has to play Yakuza. He hates Yakuza so much that he loves.
It's the worst game ever, But we'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, so anything else you've been playing, Eric? Was that it?
No, that pretty much covers it. Probably, it's everything from stuff that you guys know I like to PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, which is not really my type of game because I suck at those sort of things, but enjoying it.
So anything else you've been playing, Nathaniel? For
Yeah, I since last show I finished Hellblade because I was pretty close to the end of it. That game is really, really cool.
how long did it take you to beat it?
It's probably about the same as Lost Legacy, about 8 hours or so. I'd have to check.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's not very long. It's a really, really cool game, and it doesn't feel like a game that was made by maybe a dozen people or whatever that Ninja Theory is. And it's crazy. It's really, really pretty looking. It does some cool things. It doesn't succeed necessarily at everything. I really like the combat in it when it's like one or two enemies, but towards the end, it starts throwing like up to like half a dozen at you at once.
Isn't it kind of tough with the camera too to get that to like move around? That's what I've been reading.
Well, the camera is really close to your character on purpose to make you feel kind of claustrophobic, and it's really kind of intimate. And it's like really for one or two, enemies in combat, or for when you're just running around doing the puzzles, or cinematics is a different thing. But for the combat, that's kind of the thing that got frustrating at the end a little bit. It was just like, but then it kind of is doing it to you on purpose a little bit. So I don't know. There's a couple really cool like conceptual levels in that game that are really, really great. Like there's one where you have to kind of navigate mostly by sound. and when
Yeah.
you have to kind of focus to hear on things, and there's just the visuals kind of get a little bit clearer, so you can see a little bit while you're still, but as soon as you start moving, you can't hardly see anything. And these are like real creepy creatures all running around that you have to avoid. If you make too much noise, they'll hear you, or if you bump into them, so you have to kind of get around through, and you go through a bunch of different stuff. The creepiest part of that level is when you're going through kind of like a little like cellar or something that's half flooded. It has a bunch of chains and things hanging from the ceiling. You have to kind of avoid them. And it's really tense. The name Hellblade, just in general, does a really good job of kind of keeping you tense and in the moment, just like, oh, kind of dark and creepy vibe to the whole thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, it's just really cool that they did all of the motion capture with, like, they built their own stuff to do all of the performance capture in there with cheap stuff relevant to the big stage. Because otherwise they would have had to gone off to like LA or New Zealand or somewhere that has these stages built, but they just put it, like they were talking about on some interview thing I was watching, it's like IKEA stuff to build some of the rigging and there's certain different cameras and things that they rigged it all up. It's weird. What they ended was something that was really good real time, even showing it off at like some tech conferences and stuff. So it's kind of interesting what having a sort of smaller budget forces you to do, but with people who have the right know-how because they've worked on these big games, what they can accomplish. So kind of from that aspect, Hellblade is really interesting and really cool.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. It's like old school sound effects, from
Yeah, I mean, it's just they had a vision for what they wanted to do, and for the most part, they succeeded. It's a pretty good game. And it's the one that it's like, hey, we want it to be a game for, a smaller audience of people who really love it versus some big thing that was trying to cater to everyone. So I hope it does really, really well, and it seems like it's been decent enough that more studios, like, it's just more interesting games out there than just the same things over and over.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's kind of in the middle of like AAA huge games and then small indie games that are all like pixel art or just simple 3D stuff. And it's kind of in the middle, which is really cool. We haven't had as many games like that.
Yeah.
So I also have, after that, I finished that off and then I dove way deep into Prey again. It seems like I'm getting super close to the game. I played about 30 hours of it.
Wow.
It's because I keep going off on all the little side objectives, and I've leveled myself up a whole lot now so that I'm way less sneaky than I was in the early game. More like earlier on, you're not as powerful, so you're sneaking around. You're like, oh crap, I hope something doesn't see me, even though I don't know if it's there, and then something would still jump out at you anyway, but you're at least trying to be careful because you don't want to just jump into combat. And now I'm just like, I have tons of ammo that I've got built up. I've upgraded all my weapons. I've got a whole bunch of health now. Just run through, or a lot of times it'll be like, okay, I'm going through this airlock so that I can run through this room to get to this other room I'm trying to get to, and I don't care to fight anything. I'll just run past them because once I hit the loading screen, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, that's cool.
But there's some really cool little twists and turns to the story in that game. I was like, ooh, I didn't see that coming. That's neat. It's really, really good. I'm just the end of it to have some sort of like cool sci-fi-y like rug to pull out from under my feet, so I don't know what exactly is happening. I have some guesses.
Yeah.
There's all these little hints of like some of the books that you can pick up and read, or some little things that are kind of just environmental stuff, or emails that I've read that you're like, wait a minute, I think I might know a little something that's going on that's maybe different than what I think, like they're presenting on the surface of what it is. Like, so I get it right when I actually finish the game. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thinking I'm getting close, and then it's like, nope, here's some other thing.
Yeah. That happens with some games. That's all right, though.
It's really, really cool. Like I talked before, it's a lot like, the Dishonored or Deus Ex style of level design, but it's a bunch of areas that I've now been in the whole entire space station. Yeah. And so First, when you go through, you have to walk your way normally through all the doors and directly through all the stuff that's in between to get to some far place. But then you open an airlock, and then you can go outside and fly in 0G to another airlock that you've unlocked and kind of skip over stuff later when you're running back and forth to do different things. Yeah. But every so often, there's been a few times in there where they give you a timed mission where it's like, oh crap, someone shut off the air, so if you want to rescue these people, you have to go fix it in like 15 minutes or, whatever, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really weird too, because now that I think about the early parts of the game, you see nobody at all, and then like halfway through, it's like suddenly start seeing like live people because you've seen plenty of dead people, and then you see plenty of this dead people being turned into alien things. You're like, dang it, stop that!
I almost bought it when who was it? GameFly had it for $20.
Yeah, I did.
Same week, there's like 3 or 4 people that had on sale.
And Newegg had it for 22 recently, for 20 as well, and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I bought it.
It is.
So I'll get to it.
It's worth even more than that. It's a really good game.
Yeah, and I'll get it eventually. I almost bought it, and I was like, I've got so much other crap that I need to play that I don't want to throw it on the pile at this point.
I don't know if I'll play all the way through again, but I want to start it again from a save that I kept. Because this time I'm going sort of like human only. I'm not getting any of the special powers that give me like alien DNA or something, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I want to go through and then go do all the weird stuff like shape-shifting and psychic powers and stuff that I don't have this time. At least try it out.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I like games like that you can go back and do it a different way.
Play some more, yeah.
Yeah, play it a whole different way. This time I won't, get this upgrade to make me this. I'll go this way, and I like that. I always like games like that. Those are pretty cool.
Now though, I'm like, all right, I have this thing that will disable something, and then I'll pull out my golden pistol and shoot them, and they'll die fast. Disabled, so it's like, yeah, okay, this thing will disable these types of enemies, and this other thing will zap these guys, so then I can just go and mow them down pretty much. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's one of those games that you start out feeling really weak, and then you've upgraded yourself enough that you're like, yes, I am super powerful.
Yeah, that's cool. I like those kind of games too, so... But no, other than, I was playing Sonic Mania, which I really liked. I started Horizon Zero Dawn. I think I've played maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. I started it that Sunday night after we recorded, and I started playing it. And then the next day, we got the review code for Yakuza, so it's like, crap. All right, well, I can't.
Like, oh no.
I gotta stop.
And I'm assuming, because it takes a little bit to get out of there in Horizon.
Yeah, I think I'm at the part where she's training for the trials, I think is where I stopped at. So, I mean, that's still way early in the game. I mean, that's barely starting it. So
just very early. It's like just after that, there's still a little bit after that, and then you finally leave the kind of first zone.
Yeah. So I'm eventually gonna go back to it after I write my review for Yakuza this week. It's like, okay, now I can go back and play it. And that's the other game that's the game that I've been playing the most this week was Yakuza. I think it's pronounced Kiwami or something like that. It's Yakuza Extreme is what it translates to.
Extreme. It's more fun to.
Yeah, but it's
more over the top.
More over the top. Well, and pretty much what it is, it's a remake of Yakuza 1. It's not a HD upgrade. It's an actual remake of the game. They used the Yakuza 0 engine for it, and they added all kinds of new features to it. They've added the different stances, so you have the 3 or 4 different stances that you have for all the different moves and all the upgrades. And in the first one, they didn't have a whole lot of the hostess clubs and things like that, so they added all that in there. And of course, with it running off the the Yakuza 0 engine, the graphics are way better than the PlayStation 2, of course, and
yeah.
it has more cutscenes in it as well. So you have like 30 more minutes of cutscenes that you didn't have in the original one. So, but I mean, other than that, it's the exact same story as the first one. So if you've ever played the first one, you start playing it and you immediately feel, oh well, this is the exact game that I played. It's just more streamlined to match the new Yakuza games, which is pretty cool. And they just announced, the second one. They're remaking it too. And I haven't said if it's coming to America or not, yeah. So but the one thing that I do miss in it is you don't have Mark Hamill. You don't have the English voiceover, so you don't have Mark Hamill as the one bad guy in it talking all crazy and stuff like that. But there's not even any option for it. But they even brought back the original. The actors, and they came in and re-recorded everything, so they're not using the old recordings on the PlayStation 2 version. They actually have went in and re-recorded the entire script for the entire game. So,
Nice.
but it's a great game. But it's really cool to play Zero, and then you can go right into 1, and you don't have to relearn a bunch of stuff because it's the same battle system, so it's really cool. And I'm sure when the second one comes out, it'll be the same thing too. So you can just streamline right in through all of them. So it's kind of neat how they did it. And like I say, it's not. I like my HD remasters, but when they do an HD remake and they make it better than what it was before, but yet keep the original game and the original feel and the original story and everything like that. It's a cool, and the best thing that they added was that you could save it anywhere. Used to, you have to run to a telephone booth to save it. Now you just hit the pause menu and go save. I'm like, thanks. It only took them 6 games to figure that one out.
It only took them 20 years to figure this out.
Yeah, it's like, why couldn't they have just done this from the beginning? Why couldn't they figure this out around 3 or 4? We had the pause menu, but yeah. So once I get my review written for that, I'm going to go back to Horizon Zero Dawn, because what little bit of the 2 hours or so that I played of it, it was really good. And I want to get it in before, I want to try to get most of it in before Destiny comes out, because I know my buddies will drag me into Destiny. So we'll see if it happens. Destiny's only got about a week to go, so.
Yeah, Horizon isn't that short. You're not going to make it.
Yeah, I know. I can always try, though. There's always hope. But
if you have nothing else to do and you mainline it, you could probably get through it. But
I actually don't have too much to do this week, so I might actually be able to. We'll see. Don't tell the wife that, though. Don't let her know that.
That's funny.
But anyway, we'll get into the news real quick. Not tons and tons of news to talk about, but Xbox One pre-orders did open up last Sunday. They announced it at GameCon, and it actually went live while their press conference, which they really didn't have a press conference. They kind of did a video thing like Nintendo does, which I kind of like that better. I wish everybody did that instead of having the on-stage spectacle.
I kind of am halfway in between. Yeah, like for at home, sure.
Yeah. But
it loses some of that, like, it's live spectacle that you get with people having to be on stage. And
Yeah.
something wrong, all that. Even if nothing does go wrong, it just feels better having people on a stage, even if you're just watching it live stream from home, than it does just like a pre-recorded thing.
True. It depends. Nintendo's done really well with it. And Sony has done really well with their live things. Xbox, on the other hand, theirs is, their live things sometimes is kind of.
Things are perfectly fine. It's just the content-wise that it's where they run into trouble. But the presentation of them is, they spend a lot of money and make it look great, and it runs really the last few years. It's just, is there anything in that you want to actually see? That's where they may be falling short for some people.
True. Well, where the Xbox One went on pre-order, it is the fastest-selling Xbox console for Microsoft, which is actually pretty good for a console that's, very expensive, and and an Xbox One not doing so great as it is, to actually bring out a newer, more powerful version of the Xbox One and actually sell more, or actually sell really fast in pre-orders, is kind of surprising to me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Still selling better than 360 at this point in its life. So it's not that Xbox One is doing terrible, on its own. It's just comparing it to the insanity that is PS4, which is bad.
Yep.
They're selling fine as far as, consoles and stuff goes, and people are playing on it.
True.
People complain about it, and there are some stuff that's worth complaining, like where are all the games? They're kind of still not showing up in force. There's one here and there, but compared to how many things that are coming out on PlayStation, there's not as much there. So that's thing to point
Yeah.
out. Box goes perfectly fine box, and for something like this, it's all nice and shiny. You're gonna get plenty of people who are gonna upgrade to it
Yeah.
because it's like that hardcore into it. So it doesn't surprise me that pre-orders are good. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
There's plenty of money to spend out there.
Well, it's true, and that's what worried me the most was the money. The $500 price tag. Was that going to be enough to really bring a whole lot of people on board? And apparently it is. And it's November 7th is the release date of it. They did announce that too. So
You're not going to get a mom in a Walmart going, "Ooh, I want this one. It's expensive." Oh wait, here it's like half the price. That's the one they'd pick up if they're getting.
yeah, exactly. So
This isn't. That's for. It's for all the hardcore, way into Xboxes and buying new systems because they have their cool fancy TV.
yeah.
That's we're pre-ordering it.
And it did help to have the Project Scorpion, the Scorpio edition, with our whatever it's called, with all the with the extra or the extra. It wasn't the extra stuff. It was the cool. I liked the finish on the system. It was really a cool finish, and that finish isn't going to be on the regular Xbox One X. That's only going to be on the Scorpio edition. But
It's weird that they're still hyping on Project Scorpio, and it's just like this little thing that is written on there. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, why do I care what the code name was?
Well, it's not so much the code name that interested me on that. It was just that the texture of the system itself was like different. It had like this weird texture to it. But what I liked about the box was, and I don't know if a lot of people noticed it or not, but the box was like a throwback to the original Xbox. If you look at that packaging, it looks like an original Xbox console.
Yay! So that box that's getting thrown in the closet, the console that I'm sitting here petting all the time, has a different texture.
Yeah, but there's people out there. That's what they want. That's why those day one consoles sold so well. It's just because it had day one console printed on the controller. That's
Minecraft one is way cooler, and it's only the
it
S.
is.
That thing is, they did a good job with the design on that one. That's one of the few kind of custom consoles I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to pay extra money for a console I don't want
Yeah.
just as a cool skin.
Yeah, the skin on it was really cool. The controllers were really cool. The pink and the green controllers were really nice. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of strange that they made that one the S, but
That makes perfect sense. You're not going to want to do the X for that because for the X it's new, so you want to have it just have one look out there. And also for people in Minecraft, those people aren't going to necessarily going to be wanting the big powerful console.
Well, that's true too. Yeah, you're right about that. But yeah, I mean, it's they're both pretty cool. I like the texture thing on that one, on that day or on that Scorpio edition though. I did like that. I don't care about the controller and it saying this and that, but that man, I did like that finish. That finish was sharp. I thought it was hilarious though that Larry Herb did his unboxing and he had the white gloves on, like he was afraid to touch it or something like that. I'm like, okay, that might be a little weird, but whatever.
See, we have to have gloves on.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what it made it like. It kind of made it like, well, this is actually a little fancy thing. I'm like, no, not really. It's not really that fancy, but still made me laugh. But Microsoft, on the subject of Microsoft and Xbox One, the original Xbox One consoles are apparently being discontinued. This makes sense. Who is still buying those original consoles? Most of the stores have been having them on fire sale ever since the S's came out. You could get those pretty cheap, even the used ones. So
yeah, I think only like you said, just because they were cheap, people were still buying them.
yeah. What'd you say, Nathaniel?
We're right at a year since S came out because it was last August or something. Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah, I mean, I figured they ceased production of those a while ago, but apparently not.
But they're just going through like the warehouses and clearing them out.
Yeah,
I guess.
I don't know. It's just it's nothing new, because they always do things like this when they come out with a new. And plus they're not going to have three systems being manufactured in the same factory. There's no sense in it. Everybody's going to go to the S or the X anyway. So if you have a choice, you're not going to get the original one anyhow. But Let's see. So this new action RPG Biomutant announced at Gamescom. I don't know anything about this. Did you put that in there?
Looks awesome. It kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's a big open world RPG that is I don't know if it's a new studio or if just some people who worked on Just Cause in the past are making this, or at least some of them are. But it's called Biomutant, and it looks like it has really cool action combat, kind of like maybe a Devil May Cry or something, like some crazy over the top kind of action stuff to it, but it's like a big open world thing. It looks pretty.
Yeah.
You can customize your character a lot in there, and like start out with whatever, because you're like this little weird furry creature mutant thing. But then you can also mutate throughout the game, so any upgrades you get seems like you mutated it. I don't know. There's like some a trailer and some gameplay they showed, because they had kind of like a playable demo at Gamescom. So I don't know. It looks pretty far along, so it might even be something coming out next year. But even if it's a little further off, it looks really, really cool.
Well, it says next year in it, but I don't know what that means. If that means when that means next year, it just says next year.
Assume anywhere 2018 would fair game, but it's also one of those things where they say that now and then, oh no, delays. Those never happen in video games.
Exactly. Bad playing. Oh, I hate that. Sorry.
It's kind of interesting that nobody had really heard of this game, or at least I hadn't. And it seemed like stories out of it, talking about it out of Gamescom, were like, hey, this came out of nowhere. It's really cool. So people actually got to play it there. So it's not just like looking at a demo. A lot of the stuff I've heard of is people who actually got their hands on it and talking about it. So everybody seems really excited from what they saw. So it's got good potential. Look like something that would be kind of fun, a little bit different than kind of other things out there.
Yeah, it looks really neat. I don't ever remember seeing anything or hearing anything about it, but it looks really cool.
It's got a neat look to it.
Yeah. So some more information came out about the NES or Super NES Classic. It's going to have a rewind feature, so if you die, you can hit your trigger button and come back again, which is kind of
rewind.
Making her heart
You know she's having a boy, right?
Come on.
Oh boy.
Buick now has an SUV for that.
I knew I could trust you guys.
That's what you get for
No
clicking
problem.
the articles
Buick
during the
Encore,
show to
3
review them.
SUVs from Buick.
No, thanks IGN.
Jeez, it's not even like it's like weird advertisements at the top of the screen that come in. It's like, I hate that. I'm gonna have to enable. I don't have the ad blocker enabled on this new PC yet. But anyway, so it's gonna have the rewind feature that you can like rewind a few minutes apparently, or maybe 40 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
What's that?
Is what it depends on the game.
That's
so
right.
some of the ones that's like, it's an RPG or something, you could go a couple minutes, but something like Super Mario World will only be, 30, 40 seconds.
Yeah, makes sense. It's kind of a cool little feature, especially if you get to a point where, if you're like me and sometimes you hate jumping things and you miss it, and then you're just like, crap, I got to start all the way over at the beginning of this level just because I missed this stupid jump. And then I can just rewind it and then die again, and then rewind it and die again.
Yeah, just rewind it enough so that you're right above the hole still. So I think you're dead. Dead.
Yeah. There will probably be some really hilarious videos come out of stuff like that, if anything. So, Eric, did you get a pre-order in on Best Buy on one?
I did.
Yep, I did too.
I got somebody else. I forgot that there was someone else who was going to get me one too. So I found out that I'm potentially getting another one.
Oh, that's cool. Well, let me know. My buddy still hasn't been able to get one pre-ordered. The other day when everybody was bringing them up online, I kept trying. He was trying to get one, and I was trying to get one for him. I'd already got one, but I didn't want to order a second one at Best Buy because I didn't want to take a chance of getting my order canceled. So, as much as I love my buddy, it's like, nope, I'm not going to risk me losing a pre-order.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough, and I think it's going to be. We talked about this before, but I think it's going to be tougher than last time. It's just going to. People are going to go nuts.
Maybe. I don't know. It just depends on how many they actually produce. They produce so few of the NES, and that's been my thing the whole time. So it depends on how many they can crank out a month. We'll see. But like I'd said when I was talking about Yakuza, the high def version, high def remake of Yakuza 2 was announced in Japan, as well as a Fist of the North Star game made by the guys that do Yakuza, and it's using the Yakuza 6 engine. And it looks really cool. The trailer they showed, it looks really, really awesome. And Fist of the North Star was a really cool game. I really liked it on... What system was that I played it on? I can't remember if it was Dreamcast or Saturn or... I can't remember. It's been too long ago, but it was a really cool game. And they... so the Yakuza 2 will be out in Japan on December 7th. And that one actually is going to use the Yakuza 6 engine as well. And they're also making a free-to-play mobile game that is a Yakuza Online game. They didn't really show a whole lot about it, but it will be interesting to see if those two come over to America. With as many times, with all the Yakuza games that have come out this year and the next... We had one at the beginning of the year. We've got this one. We've got 6 coming out next year. I can't imagine them not, Sony or somebody not bringing it out. It seems like they've really hit a niche with the Yakuza games, with Sony paying money to get them imported over here. So hopefully this time next year I'll be going, Yakuza 2's coming out. I can't wait to play it. It'll be really cool. If not, I'll just import it, like I always do. So, yeah, it is what it is. And last but not least, I put this in here about Dishonored, the future of Dishonored. Arcane was, yeah, they were, there was an interview that they gave and said that that there was, they didn't know exactly what was going to happen after Dishonored, if there was going to be a Dishonored 3, if it was going to be the same characters, if it was going to be a whole new, story with all new. A whole new set of characters and everything like that, or what kind of direction they were going to take, or even if there was going to be one. But it was I thought it was a little interesting read anyway.
This is called Arcane is not working on Dishonored 3 at the moment, so they're like, okay, well, we don't know what we're going to be doing in the future. And it's basically this thing coming out. It's kind of like an expansion or something. This is the end sort of the storyline that they started with Dishonored and then Dishonored 2, and now this will kind of wrap it up. So yeah, like, if we do one, different characters and stuff, I was like, alright, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
But they're probably working on some other franchise, or just a completely new one, or some, who knows what they're doing, but it's not Dishonored 3, but
yeah,
it's fine. They don't have to do only Dishonored. Let them do other things. They can come back to it later if they have a good idea for it.
Yeah, and that's what I say. I don't want to see Yakuza. I don't want to see Dishonored 2 be the last one. It was because it's a good series, and it's something different from Bethesda, and not just Elder Scrolls, which I like Elder Scrolls, but I like to see different things. So.
Bethesda has a whole lot of different things. You think of them as the publisher, which is what they did. Bethesda Studios is different from Bethesda, the company that publishes all these other things.
Yeah, well, and that's what I mean. I like to see them publish other things than just Elder Scrolls games. And I hope that I hope that Dishonored 2 doesn't just go away.
It's like you think of what they actually have is we got like Wolfenstein is coming out. That's Bethesda.
Yep.
This thing is Bethesda. Then you have the Bethesda Studios stuff that is, Fallout and Elder Scrolls. So, and then there's some other things that are a little bit smaller. So they have quite a few different things.
Yeah, they do. But, it's like I say, I always like to see a good series come out, and I hate to see it, maybe go away because of something else, or, I don't know how well, Dishonored 2 sold. I'm sure it sold just fine. So, I don't know. We'll see. I hope it doesn't go away, though.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of time between Dishonored 1 and 2. So, Dishonored 2 came out recently. They're not going to be done for a while. We're making it.
Is the DLC that's coming out in September? That's the first piece, right? Anyone?
That's the only
Nathaniel?
That's the only, I think, isn't it?
Is that the only one?
It's very much like Uncharted Lost Legacy, where it's this sort of standalone thing. You can buy it standalone, but it's also sort of an expansion on to. I don't think you can get it as like DLC.
There was no season pass, was there?
I think it
Or
was
was
something. I don't think this is included because this is
Let's go
some
look.
that kind of just cropped up. But yeah, I don't know everything on it, but
It looks pretty cool,
Yeah.
but it might be one of those things I get at like a later time.
cool thing is
Still.
that you're as characters you've seen, like a character you've seen before, but it's not been a playable character yet. So
Yeah.
interesting. I'm definitely interested in playing it at some point. I don't know if we'll get it right away, but I like Dishonored a lot, so I'll probably play it sometime.
Yeah.
Yep, it's on my list of games to finish. September. I'm getting through it. I'm tired of putting it off. I keep saying that every week. Maybe Tomb Raider 2. I see you shaking your head up there.
Tomb Raider. Wow.
What?
Nothing.
And then once I finish them, maybe I'll play something
Tomb
else, like Skyrim.
Tomb Raider Ruby or Rise of the Tomb Raider?
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
He had to stop and think about it.
I
There's
did.
quite a lot to do in that game, but I've beat that game twice. Come on.
I got nothing.
Yeah, he got to come back for that one, does it?
I got nothing. You keep getting distracted by their dumb games.
Yes, Matt. Somebody leaked out. I think it was Bethesda was working on a Game of Thrones game, but I think it was just a. I don't know if there was a lot of information about it or not, other than somebody was working on it. I don't remember.
I don't know what they could do with Game of Thrones that hasn't already been tried and semi-failed, because there was the Telltale game that was kind of this weird thing that was really related to the show, like in between some weird side story thing that, oh, look, we're pretending it's part of the show, but it's not really, and that was kind of eh. And then they had RPG that was a complete side thing that wasn't even related to the show. It was more tied in sort of to the books or something that apparently it was terrible. I don't know what they could do with a Game of Thrones game really want, because the cool stuff about that is all the like political maneuverings and the backstabbings and twists and turns of a story, not necessarily we have armies clashing or something, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if they would do something like what they did with Shadow of Mordor or something like that. Just have something, over here that has nothing to do with anything, just kind of in its own.
Maybe, I don't know. That's the thing too, is like Shadow of Mordor was kind of interesting, but Shadow of War for me so far, I've just looked at it and be like, I don't know.
I was one of the few that really didn't care for Shadows of Mordor, but that was just me.
I liked it. It had some cool ideas, and it looks like they're expanding on it for this one. And it's kind of like, okay, but it just seems like that's it, or at least what they've shown. And also, there's this few like weird things I've heard about it, like Shelob, the big spider from Lord of the Rings, is just a woman in this. They have sort of a good reason for that. So I'm just like, why? Why would you go that way? There's no reason for it. Like, I don't know. It just hasn't grabbed me yet. Because like when Shadow of Mordor came out and all the stuff they're showing before that game came out, I was like, ooh, that looks really cool. I want to try that. This one is just like, okay, they've got the Nemesis system again, but now you can also do fortress attacks too or something. I guess that seems cool, but it's not like grabbing me the way the first one was like, I want to try it. This one's like, oh, it looks like it might be all right. I don't know.
Right. And as somebody who doesn't watch Game of Thrones, I don't care one way or the other.
John's like, I have no idea. Sure, whatever.
Well, Game of Thrones, it seems more like, okay, we got to make games so we can get some of that money, and that's...
Did you, Nathaniel, did you play the Game of Thrones game for PS3? Like the RPG one?
No, I haven't actually played it, but
it's interesting. You might like it now that you're, now you've been watching the show.
It's terrible.
I remember playing it. I thought the combat was kind of odd, but
yeah, like I don't know. There could be something cool in there that they could maybe do. I think if they did, it'd have to be sort of in that universe at a completely different timeline than what the books and the show is.
Yeah.
But without knowing anything about the game, it's kind of like, well, I don't know. Show me something, and then maybe I'll get excited about it.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know. They're always going to want to, because there's only one more season left, or after this one, this is technically a half season or something. I don't know. I don't keep up with that.
Season, they just shorter episodes, like smaller number of episodes, but a few of them are a bit longer, and
Gotcha.
then the season's going to be 6 episodes, but they're all going to be like an hour and a half each or something crazy. Who knows?
I don't know. I pay little to no attention to it. In fact, my niece sent a message. They're all coming in this weekend. She's like, "We usually don't watch Game of Thrones till like Tuesday, but we're not going to have time. Can we come over to your house Friday and watch it? Because we don't want to watch it at Mamaw's." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. I don't know what's going on, but I'll watch it with you."
But Game of Thrones is my jam. It's high fantasy. Well, now it doesn't start that way, but it's more kind of like King Arthur-y style fantasy to start
Yeah.
with, and then it's like ramps up more and more as it goes on, both with books and the show. Brings in more kind of supernatural and magic stuff.
Yeah,
I like that kind of story. So
well, that's cool. I mean, I need to try to sit down and watch it again.
they're going to do a bunch of Game of Thrones spin-offs, or they're probably hoping Westworld takes off
Probably.
even more than it started out, because it did pretty well to start with, but it's not Game of Thrones level yet.
No, not yet. But so Eric, PAX is this weekend, right?
Yep, I will be in the Seattle Convention Center with the roaming neckbeard population. What can I say? Nah, I'll be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I shave. Wait a minute, I'm checking. Yeah, I don't have a net beard. Okay, I shave.
Nah, you're good. You're good. You're
I'm
good.
good. I'm all right. I'm okay.
We're talking about the people that don't venture out of their parents' basement,
Ooh.
once a year, and it's only for PAX. Let me tell you.
Man.
Ooh. But hey, it brings out people. People like games. People like to hang out. So, yep, follow me on Twitter, and I will be around. And if I run into you, fan of the show, well, maybe I'll buy you a beer. Or if you're out of age, you can have a Coke.
A Coke. What if they like Pepsi? What if they're a Pepsi?
Fine, they have a
person?
Pepsi, an RC Cola, a Dr. Pepper. I don't care.
Do they have RC Cola out west? I didn't know that. Is that something?
I've seen it a few times.
Okay.
You can buy it in stores.
I always thought it was a southern thing.
It should be pretty fun, but I was remembering like the first time I went in 2010. This is very interesting. Is there was a part of the convention hall, the exhibit hall, that was super empty.
Yeah.
And I remember this because they were showing off Kinect stuff, and they had like all this space, and no one was looking at any of the Kinect stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then 2010, it started to fill up, and by the time it was 2011, it was it's packed, it's overflowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got rid of the queue room too, which is what they used to pack people in before the show to make more space. So now like the queue rooms are like roaming little rooms and halls and stuff, and they kind of like snake people together and things. I don't know. It's going to be confusing.
It sounds very confusing and it sounds
Well,
very
hey.
crowded.
Yes, very crowded. Wear comfortable shoes. Bring hand sanitizer. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. Bring a bucket of bleach to dip your hands in afterwards. Touch a hand railing? Bleach. Controller? Bleach. Shake someone's hand? Bleach. Look at somebody? Bleach.
And if you're there and you're staying the night, don't forget to take a shower and
Very
use
important.
deodorant.
Ow. Deodorant. What a concept. Can you explain more about this?
I am interested in what you have to sell, and I would like to learn more about it.
It seems like an interesting concept.
And the
Yeah.
air and the chat says an air freshener to hang around your neck.
I can
But
only
you know what?
imagine.
Actually, it is interesting. I have seen people with backpacks or bags carrying those little tiny camping stools that fold up really compact. And I always thought that would be kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah, that would be, especially if you got to
Isn't it
stand in
true?
line or something.
For a couple hours, pop
Moving.
that down.
That's
Oh yeah, but it'll be good times. I got all my portable chargers set up in my 3DS XL, and I'll have a good time. Plus, I got some friends going, so
Cool.
should be good. I'll make some cool notes and try to get some cool swag and talk about it all next time on the next show we have.
Yeah, because we'll have a show after that, so if all goes well. So as long as I keep having, as long as everything keeps working on the computer and everything doesn't, as long as I don't touch anything and leave it like it is, we'll be good. I'm not doing anything else on this computer but that, so,
You mean you can't breathe on it, sneeze at it, or look at it funny?
Oh my gosh, that was why we were a day late, was because it was just, I was having just one software issue and it was enough to make me want to choke somebody. It was just like, oh, it's got to work. Why is it not working? It works on the old computer, but it doesn't work on the new computer. But I got it figured out about 1 o'clock in the morning, so,
Nice.
it's all good. It's all good. All right, I'm going to stop the recording right there. Save as...